Okay, hi, how are you? Welcome to this Node.js intro. It's going to be a very simple. We're going to create our own server with just Node, no Express, nothing else. If you can't understand what's under the hood with stuff like Express, then why use it? So it's going to be very simple, less than 30 lines of code. So as you can see, I have a pages folder with index.html on it. Has congrats your first code or your first Node project. I have a file called app.js, and then I have node package lock and package.json. And if you don't know how to get those there, or you don't have Node installed right, I've just bumped the mic. Whoops. Okay, so no, just install Node to get those files right there. So just npm I node. And as you can see, right there, I already have installed, but these two files right here, just your basic spec files. You don't need to worry about it. And let's just get right into it. First thing we're going to want is our HTTP. And this just lets us communicate with the browser. So HTTP, colon. And then we're going to want a URL. This is how we get information from the URL the client has typed in. So URL equals URL. And then the last thing is FS, because that is a file system, and if you want to send the user a file like an HTML file, then you're going to need to use FS, so just FS. So now we want to create our server. It's very easy. I'm just going to say const server equals HTTP dot create server, and this is going to take an anonymous function with the parameters of request, RFQ, and response. The request is what our client is giving to us, and our response is what we are giving back to the client. In here, we're going to create some more variables. We're going to say query and path name. We will worry about query later, but for right now, just have these two variables. These are going to let us go through what is in the URL given to us by the client. And as you can see, we're going to be getting our URL through the request. The request has a bunch of different methods under it that I will go through in later videos. For right now, that's all we need to worry about. So we're going to say URL.parse request equals true. And now we want to say if the URL path name, in our case, is equal to a slash, because if you don't know, Facebook, Google, YouTube, Twitter, after the .com part of their website, there's a / there you don't see. And anytime it's just a / with nothing behind it, it's the home page. So what we're going to want to do is say, if path name is strictly equal to the dash, okay, we're on the home page. You're going to want to send a response, so res.end, and let's just say hello world, because yeah, that's what you do. Now we want our server to listen and see what is going on. If we don't let our server listen, then the server is not running, and there's no way to the client cannot communicate with the server, so when they go to try and go to this website, it won't work. We do that by saying server.listen. We give it the port number, which in our case is going to be 3000. Give it the IP address. It's our local one, 127.0.0.1. And I'm going to throw a little anonymous function in here that just logs to the console or server running, so we know our server is running. So server running, save that, and to run a node file or a node script or program, all you gotta do is type in node and then app, because app's the name of our file. You don't need the JS after it. So there we go, server running. Let's open up our browser and go to 127.0.0.1 with the 3000 behind it, and it says hello world. If we try and do that without our server running, I use Control-C right there just to close that out. If we try and go to this without our server running, then we're not going to get anything. It's just going to sit here and load and load. Oh, there we go. Site can't be reached. So if you want to send If we want to send this HTML page back to the client, that is where this FS is going to come in handy. So let's create a variable called homepage. So that's going to be our homepage. We're going to say fs.readFileSync. Node has asynchronous and synchronous abilities, and I'm not going to go over that, but right now just use readFileSync. That's very important. And then use a backtick, not your regular quotes, but the backtick up by the 1 or the tab or the escape key. That's where it's on my keyboard. And then we're going to give the money sign, curly braces, underscore underscore, dir name. And then we're going to give it the path to our index file, which is pages/index.html. Another thing you have to give this is the encoding. And if you don't do this, then it will not properly load and you will get a mumble jumble of garbage and you will be confused for yourself 10 minutes until you realize you forgot these 4 or 5 characters. And so now right here, instead of sending hello world, let's just send it our homepage variable and see what happens. So let's save that, run, our server's running, type that slash, there we go, our first node project. Now, the URL is very sensitive to how stuff is typed in, so I'm going to go over that real quick. Let's just create another path here. So I'm going to say else if path name is strictly equal to / different page. Let's do res.end different page. So save, restart our server. It's running. So there we go, our server's running, and now let's type in / different page. It works because we typed it out right, but if we change this P from an uppercase to a lowercase, it's not going to work. As you can see, it's still loading. It's waiting for the response because it sent out the request, which is our URL right here, but it's not getting one because it cannot find a response to dignify this request right here, a different page with a lowercase p. But capital P, it knows where to find it. So that is that. Just a quick video on how to get your first Node.js server up and running. Thank you for watching. I'm going to have more up and coming in the future. Feel free to watch my vanilla JavaScript video course, which I'm also working on that as we talk. And I hope you enjoyed and learned something. You have a nice day.